So you've fallen in love with the idea of your own teepee outdoor wedding, but you're like, where do I even begin? And even starting feels a little bit overwhelming. Well, I'm here to help you kick overwhelm and get a clear understanding of what's involved with planning your own outdoor wedding. What do you actually need to know now? What do you not need to know? How much will it even cost? I'm going to go through all that with you. So, who am I? I'm Jodie, the founder of Sammy TP, and I've helped couples over the last 12 years plan their own outdoor wedding, transforming fields and gardens into their own wedding venue. And we've helped over 800 couples achieve exactly that. And I'm here to help you do exactly the same. So, where do we even begin? Well, first step is consider your guest list, and this will inform so many decisions for you. And your guest list, there are two parts to it. There's that daytime part, those people that you really must be there all day for you, and those that you want to join you later in the evening. So that might be your extended work friends that you want come in later into the evening. So have those two key numbers. And why do I start with that? Well, that's going to inform so many decisions down to how many TPs you need, what size toilet unit do you need, how many people have you got to cater for, and that really will help inform your overall budget. So if you are working with a slightly smaller budget, having a slightly smaller guest list will definitely help you to achieve that. So you're armed with your guest list. Perfect, big tick. We know what our daytime numbers are and we know what our evening numbers are. So what's the next step? What I'd say is now go and speak to a TP provider, whether that's Sammy TP or somebody else, because we might not be able to help you. We've got a diary that gets pretty booked up quite quickly, so we might not be right for you. We might not have availability. Obviously, have a chat. And we will love to help you as much as we can. And even if we can't, say you're out of our area, you're based down in Kent, for example, an area that we don't currently cover, we'd put you in contact with somebody down there. So, where do we even begin? Well, the next thing is you've got your guest list. Where are you going to have it? You don't need to know that answer right now. You might be really fortunate that you've got your own garden, family land that you can have it in. So, you've got a big tick. But you might not be that person. You might be that one that I love the idea of this, but where the chuffing hell do I actually have it? If you don't know people that's got land, it's really not a problem. We've got venues that we work with across the Midlands. I'll even share a link with you where you can get that information. Sites that have, diversified really, for want of a better word, to create outdoor venue space for exactly this, creating outdoor weddings. And they vary from farmers' fields, sporting grounds, to village halls, to stately homes. So there's such a vary on the sort of venue that you can hire for your own outdoor wedding. Now, when you have an outdoor wedding, it isn't just one day. So if you are hiring, say, a village hall that's local to you, that's got really nice outdoor space, please don't hire it for one day because you need your TPs built, which might happen on the Wednesday or even the Thursday. You need time to come in yourself and add in all your own personal touches, all those Pinterest ideas coming together and creating your space that's unique to you. Saturday, if you're going for a Saturday wedding, celebration day, and then Sunday, clear down stroke Monday. So you can see you need at least 4 days higher. So make sure that when you speak to your venue, you've got that clarification that that's the period that you need it for if they're not already geared up for doing outdoor weddings. So when you come and speak to your TP company, don't feel that you need to have had that site identified. It's fine if you haven't. If you kind of say, well, we're thinking that it's going to be in the Derbyshire area, we think it's going to be in the Nottinghamshire area, that's a start point. And that's all we need at this point is getting those absolute baseline, those foundations in, so it starts to build the picture for you of what this could look like and what's the overall cost going to be, because then it helps inform those decisions of, is this right for you? Does it work with your budget? Is completely out of budget? Oh, actually, that works nicely for us. So it helps inform all those decisions for you. So don't feel that you need to nail that detail right now, but just have a bit of an area. So, what is it that you need from your actual venue space? So, as I've said, we've transformed gardens, fields, farmers' fields, cricket grounds. We've seen them all and we've transformed them into pop up wedding venues. And often these are a blank field, there's nothing else there. The things that you need to make your event function are you're going to need toilets and you're going to need power, and that's the absolute minimum. Extra things that are nice to have, it's nice if there's water on site, not essential. It's nice if you've got car parking, again, not essential, and I'll come back to those. If there isn't toilets on site, and if there isn't power on site, it isn't a problem. It just means that what that means is we're going to hire in for you toilets and generators. That maybe sounds a bit scary, but I assure you it really isn't. We can deal with that for you. And we've got a blog post on things to consider when hiring your toilets, things to consider when hiring your generator. At this point, as you're just sort of like tiptoeing into, is an outdoor wedding for me, don't worry about all the detail. Just know that, well, to make it function, we know we need toilets, we know we need power, and we can hire those in. So allocate it within your budget, get that spreadsheet going. So the venue choice, when you're looking at, say you've got 2-3 venues and sites that you're going to have a look at that could work for your outdoor wedding, what you need to do then, if you're only comparing them now on cost, is what does that site offer you? If you've got a site that says £1,500 to hire, plus toilets, plus generator, versus a site that's got the site, the toilets, and the generator, they might look that one's more expensive because it's got all those facilities on there. So that's £3,000 and the field is £1,500. But by the time you've hired them in, price point will be quite similar. So look at what the site offers you. Don't just look at the price, because there'll be things that you may need to hire in addition to. Another thing to consider that you may get from your site, and for some people, this will be more value than you realise, and that is on the day support. And that is just somebody there that 3 o'clock, the band should have arrived, they're not there. They're the ones in the background making that phone call to say, hi band, you should be here, just making sure you're on your way. Do you need help getting in? Are you lost? Everything okay? Those things don't happen very often, but for you as the couple, it's just peace of mind knowing that they're not trying to phone you, that there's actually someone there looking out for you and looking after your day. Now, if you've only got 2-3 suppliers with you on the day, and say you've got a catering team with you daytime through to evening, they're going to be the key people with you on the day. So you might go, well, I've only got 2 or 3 suppliers, I don't feel I need anyone to manage my day. Fine. Again, it just might help inform those decisions for you. But some sites, it's that reassurance that there's someone there on the day to look after you and take care of you, like there would be if you went to a hotel, for example. But not all of our weddings have that. And if you're happy that you've got an outdoor wedding and everyone's kind of geared up, knows what they're working towards, you're super relaxed, don't feel you need it. But if you've got lots of suppliers joining you, lots of different food vans, lots of different music, then actually having someone to manage that on the day can definitely be a worthwhile investment. So again, on your budget, just kind of allocate that for something that you might consider, but you don't need to make the decision on, do I need a wedding manager on the day now? What I would say is add it to your budget as we would really like to have that, because that sounds like a nice thing to have, but we're just going to see how the day shapes. How many suppliers have we got? Is there a key supplier, like that one caterer I've mentioned, that can manage the day for you? Or actually, we've got 10 different suppliers. We definitely just need somebody in charge of that on the day. So we know you want teepees. We've now got an idea of where we want it to go. The next consideration is how you're going to feed your guests. So it may be, and a lot of our couples go, we want something really relaxed. Yes, we want everyone to sit down, but we want that menu to be more sharing platters as opposed to 3-course meal. Yes, we have 3-course meals, but we also have people not having seating plans. So therefore, what I'm going to say is there's no right or wrong answer. This is only about what's right for you. And having an idea of what you want to do with food will really help inform the decision of how many teepees do we need. So if somebody came to me and said, we've got 100 guests and we want to seat everybody formally, I actually would be recommending 3 giant hat teepees. If someone came to me and said, we've got 100 guests and we do not want to seat everybody formally, we want some seating, but we've got street food vans, there's absolute zero seating plan, then that actual number could have 2 giant hat teepees. So your food and how you want to structure that will definitely make that next decision of how many teepees do we actually need. There's no right or wrong answer. Again, it's about what's right for you. So if you choose to have that sit down element in the day, still a relaxed menu, and then say a food van at night, that works perfectly. If you want street food vans all day long, there's things that you need to consider there. If you've got, say, 65 in the day and 120 coming at night, someone might go, well, I want 3 food vans. Your food vans will have minimum orders that they need to hit. And if you're trying to work with a bit of a budget, you might find that actually having 3 food vans with you all day, making sure you've catered for those daytime and evening foods, actually starts to kind of hit a tipping point where it becomes really expensive. So a way round that is to have, say, a food van for your daytime, then you're catering for your 65, and then a different food van at night, and they're catering them for up to that 120, because they will have minimum orders, which may be in the region of about 50 covers. And for food vans, you're probably looking around £12 to £17 per head, depending what the food van is, to just give you a bit of an idea there. But go speak to them. You'll find they're at different food fairs as well, so you could even go and try their food, as well as obviously stalking them on social media too. So food vans are a great way to feed your guests, super relaxed, but don't think you're going to have food vans all day feeding everybody if you're trying to work with a budget. So if you do decide that you want the food van option, the next question is, do you want to provide formal seating for all of those guests? So you've told me I've got 65 in the daytime, I want food vans. My next question is, would you like to formally seat all 65, or do you just want seating for some of those because food service is going to be over a period of 2-3 hours? Grab it when you're hungry. If you're not hungry, grab it later. Sit down when you're eating. Don't sit down if you're not. Again, that will help inform the decision on how much space you need. So if you're only producing space for, say, 40, 2 TPs would still be right based on your evening numbers. But if you've got 100 guests come in, and as I've said, you'd want 3 TPs for those numbers, but you actually only wanted to provide seating for 40, well, yes, 2 giant hat TPs work. So consider your food, but consider how you want that served. Is it that everybody seats, or is it that, no, it's pretty relaxed? Because that's going to help me to say, yes, it's 2 TPs, yes, it's 3 TPs, and it will just help make those decisions. What you don't need to have decided at this point is, which food vans is it? What's on the menu? What time are they serving? Don't worry about any of that. That will fall into play later. But right now, you're just building that sort of like outline picture of, this is what we think we want, and this is the way that we can make that work. Because my job is to make sure that we're recommending the right space for you, that the space isn't too big, the space isn't too small. That if there's a moment in time when all of your 120 guests need to be inside because the weather's just turned, we've got a bit of a drizzle in the evening, that there's space and comfortable space for everyone to be inside. And that's really, really important. So don't kind of try and get away with your space if actually you really would benefit from a bit of extra space there. So you've got your food, you know what you're doing there, we've got a good idea where you're going. The next consideration is drink, and what do you do with the bar service? A couple of things that's going to help inform that is having a free bar really important to you? Not many people do it, but some people do. People that have a free bar are more likely to have their own land, do it in their own garden. Tick, perfect. If you want to provide your own daytime drinks, but actually have a bar service there at night, that's kind of like a nice blend between the two. It's about making sure you've got sort of like a wrapper around that daytime drinks of Well, how's that going to happen? You've bought the drinks, but how are they going to get chilled, glassware, and served? So we've got solutions for that for you. So that could be that that's your catering team that looks after that. It could be that we work with a bar company that provides you with that service, but also if someone wants a Jägermeister, they can still go to the bar and buy that drink because there's only going to be limited drinks that you offer as part of that free package. A bar service like that may have a minimum spend. Well, what does minimum spend mean? So they may say to you, our minimum spend is £2,000, £3,000. If your guests have got too many free drinks and they're not hitting the bar, you will not hit the minimum spends. So if they've only spent then £2,500 on drinks, you're making up that shortfall to £3,000. So that's £500. See it as you've paid for the service, because a bar company, they put that in because they need to make sure that they cover all their costs. So get the balance right of what free drinks you offer when working with a bar company as well. If you choose to do all your own drinks all day, then again, it could be worth speaking to your catering team to hire additional staff to help with the service of that and get a fridge trailer. That would be my tip on that one. Fridge trailer will be your friend, that all those drinks can go in there, get chilled from the day before. You know that's all taken care of. And if you're doing breakfast the next day, all the bacon, sausages, cobs are in there and they're all taken care of too. But hiring a fridge van doesn't need to be a decision you make now. What I'm trying to say is anything's achievable with a little bit of planning around what it is that you want to do and create. For the bar service, you don't need to have made that decision now. Apart from, this is the only caveat I'll add in, if there's a venue that you love the look of, a site that you love the look of, but they want to control the bar and you want a free bar, well, there's a bit of a mismatch there that you're not quite aligned. So you need to make the decision that is a free bar where you're providing all your own drinks a compromise, or a compromise you're not prepared to make, because then that's not the right venue for you. So it is understanding what's important to you. Is it that you do all your own free drinks? Is it that you can camp? What are those key things that then are non-negotiable, so that when you're looking at the different sites, you can make sure that they align for you. And if you're like, well, we're not too bothered, if you do the bar, perfect, something we don't have to think about, bro, that site will work for you. So understand what's important to you, so then you can make sure that that aligns with the site that you're going to be working with. So we've got a bit of an idea now on our guest list. We've got a bit of an idea on food, and we know what we're going to do with the drink side of things. So next things to consider as we're starting to build that picture for the budget, does this work for us, is music. So the absolute start point to music is, it's a Spotify playlist, and then you hire in speakers to help amplify that. And what that also means is that you've got a microphone to help with any speeches that you've got going through the day. That's sort of like your baseline, and you might have that then to take you all the way up to the evening. It might be that you have that for the daytime part of it, so that you've got music for an outdoor ceremony, you've got music then when you've got a drinks reception going on and when there's food happening, but then in the evening you've got a professional coming in to take over. So whether that's a DJ or a band to come and support that evening music. What you want from band ideally is that when they're not playing, they're supporting you with music. So they're playing DJ music in between their own sets. So then you know you've got it covered. Occasionally, we do have people have a band and a DJ, and they will be two different suppliers. Sometimes it's a DJ that's been recommended by the band and they work together. Again, that just comes down to your budget, your preferences, but speak to the band and see what they can offer you so far as supporting music in between their sets. So that's the music side of things. But what else do I need to even think about? Well, I definitely say consider the kids. Are you having children? So if this is a no-go children's zone, you don't need to think about this. But if you are having children, or you've even got your own child that's going to be attending the wedding, there's some key things there to consider. Who's going to be looking after the little one when you've got the ceremony going on, when you've got speeches? Are they quite self-sufficient? They'll get on with it. Are they really young that they're just not going to understand? Then actually you might want to have a little bit of extra support on the day. So that might be a child minder that looks after them regularly, that they're familiar with. Perfect. But there are wedding crashers out there that can come and support your day as well and help to take care of little ones, particularly at those points when it just needs to be adult time because it's speeches and we know that's boring for the kids. They'll go and take the kids outside and entertain them. If there are lots of children, then that's when you need to think about entertaining them. Because as adults, we know if the kids are happy, the parents are happy. It just makes everyone's life that little bit easier. So little things like a little drink station for them where they can make their own juice and cocktails with water bottles. Just not too many fruit shoots would be my advice. You might have a station there where they can go and get some little snacks throughout the day so they're not hungry and grumpy, but also lots of games and entertainment for them. Now, if I sat my boy down to a colouring book when he was little, I'd probably have his attention for about 30 seconds and then that colouring book would have got launched. If I sat my daughter down to do it, she'd have sat happily for an hour. So it is about mixing up what you've got there. Yes, maybe have some colouring books, but you want some activities outside that might be crazy golf, a bouncy castle, some garden games, and guess what? The parents are going to love all that too. So yes, think about entertainment. If you've got children, definitely have something that's kind of supports them, but also is great fun for the adults that's attending too. So I touched briefly on the toilets and the generator. Your generator will power everything that you've got going on site. So that will power the music, the lights, the toilets, the food vans. That's going to power everything for you. And you only need one generator. We occasionally have someone that orders a backup. Yes, if you're that way inclined, I'm not going to stop you. But generally, you just need one generator and that will power everything. When it comes to toilets, there's so many choices with toilets. So much so, I've got a video just on toilets, so go and check that one out next. But going back to the children, if you've got lots of children, particularly children that might need nappies changing, often a luxury toilet unit does not have baby change facilities. So you've got options there. You can hire in a toilet unit, which is generally an access unit that will have a baby change facility in there. So if you've got someone that would benefit from that and you've got children, well, hire that unit in and it ticks all those boxes. But if you've got loads of children, no accessibility issues, you might go, I'll just hire the luxury toilet unit in, but actually I'm just going to put the garden gazebo that we've got in from a birthday party that we had last summer. I'll set that up as a baby change area. I'll pop a chair in there. So if anyone's feeding, they can go and escape, change the babies, and they've got some space there out the back of the teepees. No one needs to see it, near the toilets, and it's just catered for. It just shows that with a little bit of thought pre-wedding, you've thought about everything. You've thought about your guests. It's all been considered. You thought about those little ones attending as well as the adults. Next consideration, and this often doesn't get thought of till later down the line. So again, not wanting to overwhelm you with too much information, but rubbish. Make a plan for rubbish. If that is you in your own garden even, you might just make sure that you've left the bins empty, you've pulled them behind the teepees, you've got your recycling bins and you've got a point and you're just going to sort of like filter it through over the coming weeks and store it in the garage. That could be a tick for you. If you've not, and you know that actually you've got loads of food vans, you've got free drinks, you're going to generate a lot of rubbish. And sometimes people go to the other extreme of hiring in a grab bag or a skip. What I would caveat with the skip now is that you often can't put food waste in it. So you just need to hire the right skip and have a conversation with them who know it was so complicated. But just consider rubbish. And this goes back to your venue. Does your venue offer rubbish disposal or does that fall on you? And that's actually, if you're between two sites, that could just be the tipping point of, right, don't even need to think about rubbish. They're going to take care of it. It's all within the cost, tick. It could also be that you could pay your bar company or food vans an extra, I don't know, £50, £100 for them to take away their rubbish. It's worth doing because you don't then need to worry about it the next day and think about it. So there are lots of ways around it. Just pop it on the list to consider at a later date of how that's going to work, but do not worry about it just yet. So you love that idea of a teepee wedding. It ticks all those boxes of creating that sort of like wedding festival vibe. You can have the music that you want, you can have the food you want, the drinks that you want, have kids, don't have kids, have garden games, live music. Perfect. So the next steps, where do we go from here? Well, with all that information armed with all that information, you can get a lot more detailed quotation from your TP company now. We're having formal caterers. We need toilets. We need generator. These are our guest lists. You're going to get a lot more detailed pricing and quotation based on all of your needs. If you've gone that formal catering route, you might need a catering tent, for example. If you've got street food vans, you won't. So if you know that, you can build that picture. That picture isn't what you've got to have. It is the absolute foundation. This is the starting point for you of this is the way we think we're going. But as with anything, ideas are going to change over time. So don't feel like you need to nail every detail right now. Keep it sort of fairly fluid. It will develop over time. You'll see something at an open day that you love the idea of, and you might want to then incorporate that into your day. So don't worry about nailing every single detail. So something that's unique to the teepees is a fire pit. You can have a real flame fire pit inside your teepees. That needs to sit in the centre of a teepee, whether that's a giant hat teepee or a chill out teepee, a slightly smaller teepee. And it has to sit in the centre because right above it, you've got a smoke cap, and that's how that all functions within your teepee space. And the great thing of having the fire pit is that evening entertainment is where people will stand around. And if it's a real flame fire pit, you might even decide to toast marshmallows. Just check with the teepee company that they're happy for that to happen. If you know you've got sort of older guests that they're going to want to be a part of your day all day long, but they're not going to want to be where the sort of like the loud music's happening. They want their slightly quieter area where they can chat and catch up and have a drink. Then it is nice to have that extra space for them. So consider whether you want the two teepees that's going to work perfectly for your numbers, or actually, do we have that extra space, which is the nice to have where we can put the s'mores bar in. We might choose to put the guest book in there, the bar in there, and it just helps bolster on that space for what you need and provide that slightly quieter space for guests into the evening when they want to still be part of your day, but not quite part of the loud part that's going on. So one thing we've not touched on, which you're going to be wanting to ask, is what about the weather? Well, you're having an outdoor wedding, and yes, the weather is a big consideration, but it's all about the planning and having a plan A, B, and C. Now, you're probably thinking it's going to rain on my wedding day, and yes, it might rain, but it could also be really hot, or it could be somewhere right slap bang in the middle. And this is about having those plan A, B, C, like we've mentioned. So when it's a really hot day, we can talk about opening up as much of the teepee as possible for you. You can open the smoke caps, open zip points. You can really get ventilation in, and it gives you a nice airy space. When it could be raining, well, actually, if it's warm weather, you could still choose to have a big opening, because the rain, as much as we don't want it to rain on your wedding day, it's not that much of an issue. It's just going to roll off the front of your teepee for you. And then it just could be that you've got a bucket of umbrellas that you've got at the side, that if people need to nip outside to the loo, they've got a point where they can grab an umbrella and they can go do that easily enough. And the other end of the scale for us is actually if it's windy. Thankfully, during those summer periods of like May to September, it's not very often we have to worry about the wind during that period. But then it might be that we suggest a slightly smaller opening for you. And if it was kind of those winter months or spring months when it is a little bit colder, then we can put clear walls on them. So the teepees are really versatile in what they can do to support you to have a wedding outside, whatever the weather. So don't worry about it. There'll definitely be options and solutions for you. And we'll be looking at the weather just as much as you are. Absolutely, promise you that. So if you're wanting to have an outdoor ceremony, well, perfect. We can help support that. It may be that you use your furniture from inside the teepees to have your outdoor ceremony. You might choose to hire extra furniture. It's all fine. Anything is possible. But what if it rains? What's the plan B? Well, Often when you've got the teepees, you've got a dance floor teepee that's completely empty during the day. So if your ceremony does have to go to plan B and it has to come inside, you've got a whole teepee available for you where that can happen. So don't worry about the weather. I know that's easy for me to say. We can't change it. It will be what it will be. But as long as you've got the reassurance that you've got the plan A, you've got the plan B, you've got the plan C, we know that anything's possible. So go and write down what it is that you want for your day. Be really creative. Come to us with those ideas, and we're here to help support those and bring those to life for you. So don't be limited by anything. We can really help you to bring that to life and make that happen.